Cool. We're gonna get started. Good on the mic. Good on all the streams. All right. Cool. Welcome to the Call-O-Thon, you guys. My name is Paul. My partner is Michaela. We're part of We Heart Houses. This is our business, our company. We're a wholesale company. 98% of our deals are all wholesale. There's only a select few that we'll potentially keep for ourselves, right? But most of the time we're wholesaling. A little background about myself. Automotive mechanic turned real estate investor, right? Working under the hood. Didn't have to talk to nobody, right? Worked in the backgrounds and end up injuring myself. Luckily, through the grace of God, I was able to get a position within the company still, just at a desk, right? So unfamiliar territory for me. So with that, did a little educating, right? Did a little researching. I had a feeling like I was meant to do more, right? I had a feeling I was meant to do a little bit more, maybe what else is there that I'm supposed to do with my life, right? Maybe, you know, I know I had some dreams, I had some goals I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to do more for my family. And with that, I did a little bit of research as far as, hey, how do you build real wealth? You know, how do you get rich, right? Or how do you build, right? So I started doing a little bit Google searching, Google digging. And with that, I found that most of these wealthy billionaire, millionaire, whatever you want to call them, right? If you look in their portfolio, you're going to find a good portion of that is in real estate, right? So with that, kind of got the ball rolling, did a little bit of researching, found out local RIA, found a couple of courses that I can take online. Once I started doing that, connected with a few partners of mine, and I've been doing it ever since. And I quit my job about almost a year and a half ago now. I've been doing this full time as a wholesaler. So done flips, done rentals. So my space is in the wholesale world, right? We're all got different avenues of how we like to get there. My thing is like, I like wholesaling, right? I like talking with people. I like being the first one to the deal, right? So that's kind of my little bit of background there, all right? We're gonna go through the room. Just everyone kind of introduce themselves. Part of wholesaling, part of real estate investing in general, is networking, right? Connecting with people. There's people in these rooms that you may not know. So I highly advise while you guys are here, connect with everyone in the room and make sure you get everyone's number. All right. So we'll just go left to right. If you guys can introduce yourself real quick and kind of what do you hope to get out of this class, as far as what can help you in your real estate investing journey or wholesaling calling, all right? We'll start over here, Mr.
My name is Delfino, and what I hope to get out of the class is to just expand my knowledge on this, on what to say to the owner, to the store.
Okay. Delfino's been coming here for a while now. This is your third Call-O-Thon, right? Or okay, cool. I appreciate you keep coming back, right? So Delfino, you work with the family business, and then he shows up after work and comes in and makes the calls, man. So keep it up, man. Doing a great job.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andres. What I'm hoping to get out of this class or this course what I'm doing right now is to find a different route of getting money instead of having to go to a job every day. I'm kind of tired of working every day in the sun, so I want a different way of making money, a different income source rather than a typical income source.
Good, good. And then we were talking earlier, getting that confidence to be on the phones, right?
Yeah, building up confidence as well,
Okay.
speaking better.
Cool, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
So Toby Pasquale, I think the thing I'm hoping to gain the most is building the fluency and the confidence in having those kind of conversations on the phone. I come from a software background, so I mostly just deal with a computer all day, so don't have a lot of human interaction. So this will be good.
Got it, got it. Have you ever done any kind of cold calling before? No? Okay. So you said fluency, like as far as like the flow of the conversation? Okay, got it, got it. Okay, cool. Mr. Premier.
My name's Harold. I came across Paul on an Instagram post highlighting the Call-O-Thon. Came, checked it out. I like that he had like the scripts, leads, right? That he was like had a game plan.
Cool. Thank you for that, Harold. Harold put in the work, you guys. So I'd like to take the credit if I could, but I'm not. Harold put in the work and did the call. I was just there kind of as a help guiding, right? So, and my mentor did the exact same thing to me, and that's the whole purpose of this is just keep passing it along, right?
My name is Jim, retired. I'm out here about 3 years ago, so I joined as RIA in about February. And Paulie, Michaela, and Mike's been taking me underneath their wing. You know, haven't made no deals yet, but keep coming over here, trying to talk. You know, like he talks pretty good. I don't know why he's saying he needs some more confidence.
Which one? Oh,
I didn't get his name. I understand that.
oh, Andres, right here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
He talks pretty good. He can talk on the phone. Hopefully, you'll be good. You'll be all right.
All right, cool. Yeah, Jim showed up and putting in the work, right? Showing up 3 days out of the week and making the calls. So, yeah, good job, Jim. Keep it up. We had a good conversation the other day with the one dude that, where was that one at again?
Ohio.
That was in Ohio, right? Yeah. So, cool.
So my name is Frisco. That's my first time here. So I'm just trying to get like I guess like similar to what he said, just kind of like build that confidence as well as just like establish some finances to like move into like other areas outside of like just like working a 9 to 5.
Cool. And then we met on Instagram, right? Or
No, I actually like found you like online. I was just like looking up wholesaling.
Okay.
And your name kept popping up.
All right.
So I guess that's a good thing. So I just like gave you a call and then like kind of like built from there.
Okay, cool, awesome. I don't know how that happened, but I'm glad it did. Mr. Engineer, software engineer, maybe you can shed some light, the algorithm, right? I don't know. There you go. Cool, thank you for being here.
My name's Michaela. I do dispositions.
Cool, we're gonna get started. You guys should have grabbed the sheets there in front of you on the table there. And if you guys didn't sign in, please make sure you sign in at the end, please, before you leave. Quick plug for AZ RIA. If you're not a member, highly recommend you become a member. I'm a member. Michaela's a member. They're letting us use this facility to give this course out to you guys. If you're wanting to go to high-paying courses, you can. I've done it. You're pretty much going to learn the same information that you would get at a more cost-efficient from your local RIA. And pretty much every major state has a RIA. So just a good resource of networking and education, all right? If you want to know more about it, there's some pamphlets they have up on the table as well. And then Michaela can actually help you out as far as the cost of becoming a membership too. So. All right, we're going to move on here to our sheets here. So the first one that we got out is the. Oh, my fault. Okay, we got one more guy in the back. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead. Your intro. the guy. Pay no attention to the guy behind the curtain.
My name's Michael, local wholesaler here in Arizona as well. Found Paul through actually AZ RIA, one of the AZ RIA events, and then met Paul through there and Michaela. Started about 4 months ago. Came to the first Call-O-Thon, so I started here where you guys are at too. So I started here and then been consistent ever since day one. And then obviously like with the network with Harold, Jim here, and Delfino here, like you kind of get to connect with them and kind of get more knowledge with them. So like they help you out, you help them out. It's all just a team job here. So that's what this whole room's filled with.
Cool. Team players, right? Awesome. So to what Michael said, yeah, starting out where you guys have, I was in the same boat, right? Starting out in the seats. This was over 7 years ago, and nervous to get my first deal right, and didn't know how to talk to nobody, didn't know anything about sales. Like I said, I was under the hood most of the time, complete introvert to talking in groups, like made me nauseous to the point of like I got butterfly. I'm not gonna do that. Give me in front of a person, I'm fine, right? But a whole group, forget it, right? But during that injury time, I had the opportunity to speak in front of large groups, right? Because they would have tours come through, and I pushed myself to that level of uncomfortableness to to now I'm happy to say that I can now speak in front of a group, feel confident and comfortable enough. But I'm also right at home, being alone and in a nice quiet area too. So a little cool balance of that. What we're gonna go over is some sales techniques, right? We're gonna go over the scripts. We have a couple applications for you guys to look at. We have some leads for you at the end. We're gonna do some live calling at the last hour. And then prior to that, we're gonna do a little bit of role playing where you'll be the seller, you'll be the buyer, there'll be one critiquer, and then just to get some practice in, right, before we actually hop on the live calls, get you build up some confidence. We go through a little bit and just kind of structure how the call should go, and then we start doing the live calls. So the first one we're going to go over is the call scripts. Some of you guys probably have seen call scripts before. Andres, do you use a call script or anything like that? Have you ever seen it?
I've done a call script.
Have you? Okay. What'd you think of it on your first impression, like when you saw it, and you read off of it? Did you?
So this one or any of them?
Anyone?
Any of them? They all kind of say the same thing to like say hello, my name is this, like did I catch you at a wrong time? They all kind of like go towards the same route of how you should talk to a person, pretty much like a salesperson type of way of talking instead of like hey like bugging them pretty much.
Mm.
So I thought it was pretty helpful. I thought it made it a little more clear how to do it.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you and transparent. I didn't like them. I didn't like scripts from the beginning. I didn't want to use them. I felt like I'd be just fine without using them. I said to myself, why do I need to use a script? I can talk to people just fine. I said, I could get most of this stuff down, right? Like it's just talking to people, right? I can happily tell you that I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong doing that. Actors, professional actors, when they go on a movie set and the director says action, they're ready to rock and roll, right? And the reason why they're ready to go is because they know their lines. So you like the scripts, I didn't like them. It may seem a little clunky to you at first. You may be against using them at first. Highly recommend get comfortable with it. Read it to yourself in the mirror, practice with someone at home, and it's going to definitely help you set that foundational tone of the call to come. All right, it's literally just setting a strong foundation for the next couple of questions that you're going to ask them. All right, this one is a little bit on the clunkier side, but we're going to read through it a little bit here. The shaded areas are the seller portion. All right, so we're going to read through that a little bit. Hello, Mr. Seller. This is Paul. Probably caught you at a bad time. Seller says, what's this about? I don't know if you can help me. I've been trying to reach the property owner of 123 Main Street. Yeah, that's my house. Okay, cool. Can I take 30 seconds to tell you why I called? And you can tell me whether or not we can continue the conversation. We work with homeowners that are frustrated about and anxious and overall don't want to use a realtor. I don't suppose any of those apply to you. So you got two ways the seller can respond here. No, or the seller responds with make me an offer, right? So if they respond with a no, you're going to go to, okay, and you don't know any other rental pieces of land you'd consider selling, and you don't know anybody that's thinking about selling, friend, family member. If they come back with a response of make me an offer, or how much would you pay, or I want X amount of dollars, right? I want the $1 million. Or for, this is a good one. This is Michael's favorite, I know that, for the right offer. For the right price. I don't know what I can offer you yet. I'm calling you first to see if you're even interested in selling that property. Okay, seller might come back and say, hey, I might consider it, maybe, sure. Okay, when you say maybe or sure, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? Now, this is you talking with the seller. He's going to reply with, I might be, depending on the price, what your offer is, what you pay, what you can do for me, or I want to sell. So then you have the seller's going to either respond with a market value price or the highest price possible that I can get for it. That's when you're going to come back. We're right here on this little portion right here. I understand. Sounds like you would only consider selling if you got the market value or the highest price possible. And the next part is, of course, right? Like, hey, if you're asking the seller, depending on the price or what you want to sell for, the seller, of course. All right, you come back, hey, that's fair. I'll be honest with you. We're not. I'll be honest with you. Buying properties for cash market value is something we do not. It's not something we do. If you were me, can I have our listing agent call you, right? So I want to stop right there. Again, this script is really setting that foundation of the conversation. All right, we haven't even got to the meat and potatoes of this thing yet. We haven't even asked beds, baths, right? You're literally just setting that foundation of you and the conversation. So the reason why you go off that route, because even though it's not potentially a deal for a cash offer, cash doesn't work, you can always refer an agent maybe you're working with, another investor that you're possibly working with, so just different avenues that you can take on it. All right, I don't know if you guys ever seen a trouble tree, or I think that's what they're called, but you know, if they respond this way, take this avenue. If they respond that way, take that avenue. Seller says no. Any reasons besides call and price? Okay, great. May I share with you how we work to make sense of, if it even makes sense for us to keep talking? Okay, perfect. I appreciate your time. Typically what happens on these calls, I will ask some questions. Obviously, we do that to determine if it makes sense for us to potentially work together. Is that fair? Great. After that, after you laid the foundation, you're going to go into your seller intake form. This one right here. This is what we call the application, seller intake form. This is all the basic information that you want to get. All right. Your first phone call is always going to be just an introduction and just a, hey, you know, can I get the name and address of the property if you don't already have it, phone number, beds, baths, type of property, single family, duplex, condition from 1 to 10. Hey, the condition of the property, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, what would you give it? What type of repairs does the property need? Any upgrades in the last 5 minutes? Is this a rental? If yes, then what are the rents? And you can see right there is a lease or month to month. When do you want to sell by? How come you are selling? How much you're asking for the property? Are payments and taxes current? Are you the owner? And are there any other decision makers involved? Pretty straightforward, huh? Any questions on any of those?
Question on that, the call script.
Mm-hmm.
You know the line where it says no any reason besides call or price? Like the end of the lines to the further bottom?
Okay, the seller says no.
Yeah.
Any reasons besides call and the price?
Yeah, I was thinking about like the response to it where it says great, may share with you how we work if it makes sense for us to keep talking. Like wouldn't it be kind of like a open exit type of statement instead?
Well, so it's stating like if the reason is besides, hey, well you called me,
Right.
or yeah, if the price is right. If it's any other reasons besides those two, you're going to go right into that. Like I said, it's pretty foundation of creating that next conversation going into that application, right? But if it's any of those reasons, if it is, hey, well you called me, right? Then you're going to go into that next one. Or if it's, hey, it's the price, right? Hey, well then you know it's.
I thought it was like a way to have the conversation exit or end, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
So you're right to what you're saying. Yeah, that's a great way to go into the exit strategy, right? Because you can also say, hey, can I refer you to my agent, right? Or you can go to the summarized part, right? Hey, I appreciate you sharing the information, given what we talked about, right? So yeah, great point.
I just want to give my 2 cents on script. Um, so I was against the script as well, especially this one. To me, it sounded kind of clunky until Paul explained to me the purpose of each one of these lines. So with the leads that we're going to be calling today, we do have their names, phone numbers, addresses, right? And a lot of times they will answer, "Hi, this is Dave. How can I help you?" Right? So that that takes care of that first line where it says, "Hi, seller's first name. Hi, Dave." Right? Because they already answered, "Hey, this is Dave. Hey, Dave, this is Harold." Probably caught you at a bad time. So that's what that line is specifically made for, because you will be calling leads that have the actual names, and these are good leads. These are, So the second one is, I don't know if you can help me. We've been trying to reach the owner of 123 Main Street. That question right there is going to help you, is going to save you a lot of hangups in the future when you talk to people that are divorced, right? Um, People that have deceased parents, they just hit a really strong trigger point by asking for their name specifically instead of just the new homeowner, right? If you ask for Robert, it's like, oh, that was my dad. He died 2 years ago. Oh man, like, you know what? I don't even want to continue with this conversation. It still hurts. So save yourself a lot of hangups and give yourself more opportunities by really focusing on that question. I don't know if you can help me, but we were trying to reach the owner of 123 Main Street, right? So they'll be like, yeah, this is me, or no, that's my sister, or what's this about? And you now just gave yourself and earned yourself another 10 seconds to continue that conversation with them.
So don't ask for like a name, just like do the address.
Correct. Because what if you ask for Robert and that was the ex-husband,
Right.
and he used to beat her, right? It's like, oh, fuck that, right? But she's like, no, I'm the owner, right? So, um, because yeah, the leads are good, right? And on title and all that, it can say that name, but once again, whatever it's a deceased parent or whatever, if you just say owner, you're playing that safe zone,
Right.
and it's better to play a little bit safer at the beginning to earn more talk time with them.
Okay. All right.
And kind of touching on that, or sorry,
Yeah.
kind of touching on that, what Harold was saying, also, you don't want to say the name because it might be Bob and you're saying the paper says Harold. So like, you say, I'm trying to reach Harold, well, isn't that Harold? And then now you just can probably potentially lost like the deal right there because they could be wanting to sell, it's just not Harold. So you just kind of want to just go with introductions like you need help trying to reach the owner as well.
Cool, great point, you guys.
And then another one that hit home for me is when you ask them, "Oh, I'm looking for this homeowner. Are you wanting to sell?" Right? They're like, "No." Okay, don't stop there. Always follow up with, "Okay, perfect. Would you possibly have any other property you are interested in selling?" Because yeah, they might not sell the one that they're living in, but you haven't asked yet if they have the other 2, 3 rental properties that they have bad tenants. Like, I don't want to sell this one, but if you would ask, well, do you have any other ones? Well, I do. I actually have some really horrible tenants. Well, I don't know if you'll take that one because of reason. And you're like, well, I love those. So yeah, and then yeah, so don't stop at that person. I'll always ask, well, do you have any other properties? No. Well, do you happen to know anybody else? Friends or family? And you'll be surprised because once again, the big deal me and Paul got is the lady didn't want to sell her house, but she was quick to say, well, you know what, my brother passed away, and I want to sell that house. Beautiful.
So Harold got excited.
Harold hopped up out of his seat. Said, "We got to go right now."
Right? Same day.
That actually happened. So yeah, my Harold set up the call. You had the call the same day, and then he comes running in the office. So we gotta go, and we literally went that night. We were there for what?
2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah, we were there 2 hours, and then we got the contract signed right then and there. Yep. So good stuff.
Yes, sir.
What call was that for you, You already talked to her prior to that though, didn't you? That was the very first call. So defeats the point of my next point here. It's never happened to me. I mean, obviously Harold might have a different approach or different touch. I don't know, but typically you're not going to get your first deal on your first call. All right. It takes numerous of follow-ups, numerous of touches on them. This is our CRM. This is how we keep track of our data right here and all our leads. It's going to take multiple calls. All right. It's going to take. This is the first. All you're doing is getting the application so we can go ahead and put this into our CRM. All right, if you don't have a CRM, keep the sheets or put it on an Excel or write them on a notepad, whatever you do, right? Keep track of the calls you're doing, keep track of the information, who you're talking to. All these are right here. These are our apps. There are leads. They're seeds. All right, think of a garden. All you're doing is planting. You got a seed. All you gotta do is plant it. And you gotta wait for that seed to grow though. And some take longer than others. If Michaela was here, we just closed on a deal not too long ago, and actually we have another one under contract right now. And they're both year follow-ups from like I'm taking a whole year, whole year ago. They finally called her back, and now one's under contract, and we closed on another one, right? So your leads are important. That's why you want to keep track of them. You're not going to make your first close during the first call, unfortunately. I don't want to, spoiler alert, you know what I mean? But it does take time, unless you're Harold, locking them up with the first knockout, you know what I mean? Yeah, so back to the application. Get this filled out to the best of your ability. You got 3 to 5 seconds to catch that seller's attention right off the first phone call, right? So again, that's why it's important to have this ready to go. That way you're just jotting everything down, all right? Come on in. So cool, we went over the scripts. We went over the application. We're gonna move on to the motivational key triggers right here. Anyone have any questions on the application or the script process? Nothing? Jim, you good? All right. Have you made any calls yet, Frisco? Have you made any calls yet?
No, I try to look things up and like see how it plays out, but
Okay.
I'm not at that point yet because I know if I start stumbling, it's over.
Anyone make any calls yet? No? No? Delfino, you make calls, right? Okay, all right. So when you're making these calls and you're talking to a homeowner, right, what are you listening for when you talk to a homeowner? Anything like stand out to you that you just notice, hey, this could be a potential deal when you're making these calls?
Like if they sound urgent,
Yeah, yeah.
that they want to sell, like they're actually wanting to get rid of that property.
They're actually wanting to get rid of their property, right? And when they say they want to get, like, what are some of the things that they're going through? Just a few examples, maybe if you might have heard any. I don't know if you have, but.
Well, the most recent one is that they're wanting to shut down their business.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, closing up shop. Yeah.
And they don't want to use that place for anything else, just to send and stuff.
Yeah, good point. So they got two homes right on what, Indian School,
Yeah.
but they're houses, but they're commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're shutting down their construction company, right?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, and they're wanting to sell them, right? But they're residential houses, but they're offices on the inside. And we called the city, right?
Yep.
And what did the city tell us?
It'll take about 6 to 8 months to turn them back into residential.
Wow. Okay. So, to what Delfino is saying, key motivational triggers to listen to. All right. Hey, I got my property on the MLS. I already done everything to it. Well, then you probably need to talk to a realtor. I'm not your guy. I'm not gonna be your buyer on this one. To Harold's deal with Sandy, my brother just passed away. I inherited the property. I got my property. I don't need this one. I just want to sell it to get rid of it.
Retirement.
Retirement. You hear these words, you should be, oh, should hop up. Oh, hey, let's dig into this a little bit, right? So we're going to go financial distress, foreclosures, bankruptcy, loss of employment, tax delinquent, back taxes, IRS, child support, can't afford payments, need cash ASAP, and costly repairs. Financial distress. Physical distress. You're out there driving around, right? You're out there. I can't help but no matter where I'm at now, I just constantly, I'm looking. It's just natural now. So whenever I see a property with boarded up windows, I flip it real quick and I take a picture of it and I lock it in so I can skip trace it. Boarded up windows, code violation, fire damage, trashed, water damage, abandoned, and vacant properties. These are all physical distress that you can see growing weeds, and obviously it looks like it's vacant. What do you do with those, Michael, that you see when they're vacant like that? Leave a note. Okay. All right. You just pull over in the street and just hop out. Circumstantial distress, divorce, sellers in jail, it's a rental or it's a vacancy, age, elderly, tired landlord. These are very common. This is a very common one. They're tired of being a landlord. I got a guy in Cleveland right now. He's got over 14 properties. He wants to get rid of all of them in one go. He wants $100,000 for all 14 of his properties. So he's selling. So he wants $1 million. He wants $1.4 million to get rid of all of them at once. I said, whoa, brakes here. Let's start on number one first, right? So I'm in the process with him. Potential 14 properties, right? Tired landlord wants to get out of the game. Done. Inherited the property. One of the heralds, right? Probate. Probate's a death in the family. Want to downsize, family who's had all their kids move out of the property. Now they no longer want to be there. They just want to move to something smaller. And then was a bad investment. I had a lady call me. She's in Tucson right now. She's a flipper. She's in her first flip. And she bought it at the right time. Unfortunately, right now with the market, it's no longer the right time. So now she's over leveraged. And she's at the point where she needs to sell this thing because her hard money is coming due. And she doesn't have the funds to cover. The contractor got hurt, so now she doesn't have the funds to cover that, and she doesn't have the funds to cover the hard money. So she's in a tough spot. So what we can do? Hey, it's business. I'm sorry you're going through that. Here's what I can offer you. You're probably going to lose like $10,000, $20,000. Probably going to get kicked in the teeth. Hey. Part of business, right? Whatever business you're in, you're probably going to take a little bit of a loss. Hey, you learn from it, take the growing pains, and keep moving forward, right? Luckily, I was able to talk to someone in Tucson, put her in contact with, and that person's helping her, and she's going to end up making a little bit of a profit off it, so pretty good. But just another example of a bad investment. So you hear any of these when you're on the phone, right? Software engineer, you know things, right? When you're looking at stuff, you automatically know, hey, I know I need to do this, right? When it comes to real estate, when it comes to wholesaling, start getting these burned in your memory, because when you hear somebody, it's going to go off and you're going to recognize it. Me and my wife were out to dinner one time. We're just hanging out there, and I heard a couple talk, and I don't know why I heard real estate and a foreclosure, and I turned around, my natural instinct, right? And as soon as they got up, my wife got kind of embarrassed. We had a 20-minute conversation with the guy. I had a 20-minute conversation with the guy. He's telling me his whole thing, how he ended up getting injured, his leg, this and that, but he was already working with somebody. But you never know if that can turn into a deal. Right? So key motivational triggers to listen to.
That's funny. So I actually have a question then. So I was actually, you guys are aware of that neighborhood app or whatever, where your neighbors like put announcements and stuff?
Yeah.
I just this morning read one on there where somebody was talking about their dog is sick and it's costing a lot to take care of their dog, and they're an elderly and they're struggling to pay property taxes and all of this.
Wow.
Maybe I should reach out to them.
Does everyone know what the neighborhood app is? You know what that is? So when you live in HOA neighborhoods or neighborhoods that collectively, right, that get together, you can download this app in that neighborhood, and everyone can pretty much communicate with each other, say, hey, what's going on in the neighborhood, right? Am I missing anything? And so it's just social for people within your neighborhood, right? You can even enter the name of the neighborhood that you live in, right? If
It's just called neighborhood, like the app is called just
Yeah, I
neighborhood.
think it's just called neighborhood.
yeah.
Yeah. And normally there's nothing really interesting. It's people just complaining about stuff.
Did you see that guy driving? Did you see a brown car like drive by?
Or like nosy Nellies that are like, why do the police have the corner type talk?
You gotta pay attention to the right complaints.
Yeah. Did you see that suspicious guy walking
Yeah.
type of thing, right? So, but good point. Because you know people that we don't know, right? That's the great thing about doing what we do right now. I know people that you guys don't know. And I always say, if you're going to start out wholesaling, start letting people know what you do, because you have access to friends, family. I had one gentleman here, and he got a deal done within the first month because he knew his aunt who was selling a property. We literally got it within 2 weeks, sold it the very next week, done deal. It was one of the quickest ones I've ever seen because he had a family member, right? So just like you, perfect example. Can't be all over that, Toby. Property taxes, heck yeah.
I didn't even think about it that way until you just said what you said.
There you go, man. Gem right there. You need help calling on that one, Toby? Let me know, all right? You bring that one back. Speaking of numbers, you guys, if you want, here's all my info. Phone number, where you can find me at. I'm streaming on everywhere, YouTube, IG, TikTok, Facebook Live. We're streaming right now. We're on all the platforms right now, so I hope you guys don't mind. If you do, just let me know at the end. And then again, please make sure you connect with everyone in this room. Make sure you leave with everyone's phone number, right? Because your network really is your net worth. I don't know if you guys heard that before. You probably have, but it's true. The more people you know, the more better off it is. Anything to add? You want to add anything, Harold, on that motivational trigger part, or things to listen for?
That this game, 99.99% of the calls are going to be hang-ups, no's, right? All of that. Me and Jim were talking about earlier, man, about like just being lucky, right? Some people will call it luck, being able to just call somebody and somebody wanting to sell their home. But luck has also been described as when preparation meets opportunity, right? So what you're doing right now is you're preparing yourself to answer those questions, to talk to these people, to guide the conversation if they do want to sell their house, right? Once again, 99.99% of the people don't want to sell. They're in good condition, right? Well, that's cool. But that 1% that says, well, what will you offer me? Well, it depends on the price. Well, I do have a property, right? Like, that is luck. That's your opportunity. And if you're prepared, you will get that deal, right? Like, if you're not prepared, yeah, okay, bye, man. You don't want to sell your house, bye. You don't want to do the follow-up question or whatever said on the script, yeah, man, it won't be a deal, but.
Good point. Speaking of luck, so the neighbor came by and told Harold that when we got that deal, he's like, hey man, you guys are lucky. I've been trying to talk to her like this whole time. You guys got lucky. You came at the right time, right? He said we were lucky because we found it. This is what we do. We're in here calling. I'm in here at 7 a.m. I don't leave till maybe 7 p.m., 8 p.m. I'm even here on the weekends. This is what we do. We call, we're wholesalers, we're problem solvers. We find problems, not properties. That guy can call it luck all he wants. He was at his job. He was working his 9 to 5. He wasn't talking to Sandy, and he didn't find out how to solve Sandy's problem. So even if he went down there and talked to her, We put in work for 2 hours talking to her, finding out what she needed, what she wanted, negotiated, come up to a fair offering price, locked it up. You can call it luck. I'm going to say we put in the work. Moving on to the Call-O-Thon role play structure. So we're going to get into this in about 20 minutes. And then if you guys want to, I can play a demo of a live conversation on the phone of a cold call. So the role play, right? We're going to do this to help loosen everybody up, get the nerves out, right? You're going to practice with one another. So acquisitions, B is for beloved seller, and then C is for the critiquer. Again, right? We're gonna switch up roles here. The objective of during the calls is building rapport. Now you may think. Let me ask you what building rapport is. Frisco, you tell me your thoughts on what you think building rapport is.
Similar to like a reputation, you know?
Okay,
So,
reputation.
Like, someone that you can trust, someone that's already has like, I guess like their foot in the door, you know? They have like a little network, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, it's someone that you are familiar with, like in people in that circle too.
Good,
That's what
good.
I'd say.
Excellent, excellent. Key word, I don't know if you heard them, trust. Building that trust, right? Rapport. Listen more than you're speaking. Everyone's favorite channel to tune into, everyone's favorite station, KFYME, right? ME. Everyone loves talking about themselves, right? Now, if you're talking about yourself and what you do and how you can help me and you're this, your business, that, what's that do for me? Doesn't help me with, you don't even know what's going on. And why would I even tell you what's going on? I don't know you, you're a stranger, right? So listen more than you speak. We're just here asking questions. We're order takers, we're waiters for properties. We go, hey, all we're doing is taking your order. Show empathy, match tone and speed, ask engaging questions. I like that one, the show empathy. Can everyone give me a demonstration of how you can show empathy? Anyone got a demonstration of how can you show empathy? Anyone got anything for that? How you can demonstrate that? What is empathy? Empathy is feeling what the other person is going through, right? You can say, "Hey, I'm sorry for that." Sympathy. Empathy is, "Hey, damn, you just lost. Yeah, man, my dad died a while back too, man. I know how it feels. I felt that hurt. I felt that pain that you're going through right now with your dad passing away, because I've gone through it. My dad passed a year ago, man. So I know what that feels like." That's demonstrating empathy. We're just saying, "Hey, I'm sorry your dad died. Let's move on to the next thing." Demonstrate, show that you're listening, demonstrate and show empathy. Ask engaging questions. Hey, you said you're going through probate right now. What happened? Okay, well, you mentioned you're owed a little bit on that. What do you mean you owed? Like, what do you owe on? I'm kind of confused. Don't be afraid to tell them you don't know what's going on. Hey, I just want to create some clarity going. I'm trying to understand what's happening. So do you mind just sharing with me, like, what you mean by you don't own the property, but it's your sister's, so it's not yours? You'd be surprised how many people I've talked to that aren't the actual property owner, but it's asking those engaging questions. Is this your property? Well, no. Asking engaging questions. Repairs. Hey, have you renovated the property in the last 5 years? On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would you rate the condition of the property? Again, you're just kind of getting a ballpark range of what you're going into. Time frames. How soon are you looking to sell the property? And when do you need the money in your pocket by? 30, 60, or 90 days. Decision makers. Is there any other decision makers that should be on the call with us? Spouse, family, business partners? Real quick story on that one. So I had a good conversation with this gentleman in Ohio. Great conversation. I was on the phone with this guy for like 2 hours. 2 hours. Rapport building, going back and forth to the property. Man, it's killing it. I'm like, man, I'm about to lock up this deal. Done deal, Frisco. You know what I'm saying? Lock it up. We're going to sign the contract right now in like 10 minutes. I'm going to close this guy. Minute goes by, phone gets ripped out of his hands. Who do you think it is? Old wife comes storming in. You're taking advantage of him. You're doing this. You're doing that. I just wasted a whole 2 hours of my time because I failed the call because I failed to find out who the decision makers were. It's my fault. I should have asked. Hey, is it just you? Who else is involved? Click. Next thing I heard was boom. I said, Jim? I got the dial tone. Pain. Hey, how come you're selling? How come you're looking to sell? What's going on? That's where you're getting those clues, the distress, the motivation. House is worth. What do you think your house is worth? You'd be surprised. Maybe you might be talking to a realtor and they know what the price is. How did you come up with that value? Hey, I looked on Zillow. Okay, we can all go on Zillow. Yeah, I get it. But does your house look like that property on Zillow? Well, no, but it's the same. Well, does it have like that? I can see right here, like it has that whole backsplash. It's got the new recessed lights. Like they really did a great job. Well, no, mine still has the old 1970 refrigerator in it. Well, it's not the same. Get their number. What's the best price that you can do to get the deal done today? What happens if the best case doesn't work out? These are questions that are going to help you guys. These are these engaging questions that you can ask. Give them your offer. Take multiple no's and ask multiple ways. If cash doesn't work, you can always go the creative route. For strictly time frame purposes, we're going to stick to wholesaling and cash purposes. But if you guys want to know a little bit more about the creative side, sub-twos, lease options, owner finance, if you're familiar with these terms, we can go on to it into another day or another phone call if you guys ever want to learn more about that. All right, but you always want to use cash first. That's that 5-5-10 rule that goes with the creative sub-2 route. Leave the door for open to follow up in the future, and ask anyone else they know is selling. So real quick on that, leave the door open to follow up on the future. I'm dealing with a lady. She's in Ohio right now. Her name is Sadie, and I gave her the offer on her property, and I used the exact foundation that I'm sharing with you guys, and what I'm kind of coaching these guys with. And hey, she knew right from the jump, because I laid that foundation of, hey, you know what? If this doesn't work out, you're not going to hurt my feelings. If you tell me no, I'm going to be okay, Sadie, all right? I'm going to be okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it if you tell me no, all right? It's not a problem, all right? Hey, and vice versa, it's okay if I tell you no, right? Would you be okay with that, Sadie? Okay, cool. Set the foundation. Laid it out before I even gave her the offer, well before I gave her the offer. And sure enough, hey, we didn't come up with a fair price. Hey, Sadie, I appreciate it. No problem. No big deal. Move on. Because we left the door open to follow up for future, I talked to her a couple of days ago. Hey, remember I told you about my brother's property? We went down there today to take pictures of that property. I'm going to give her the offer tomorrow on her brother's property. Couldn't find out she's got 2 more properties on that same street. So leave the door open. Don't ever burn any bridges. That's why you're laying that foundation of letting them know how this conversation is going to go by us controlling the conversations. That's what we do in sales. Wholesaling, it's in the name, sales. That's all it is. If you really want to dial everything in, wholesaling is just marketing and sales. Any business is, right? You just have a product. Our product is the house. We just want to obtain the house. So potentially, we're turning the sellers to sell us on their home. But it takes us to ask the right questions, though, to get that out of them.
When you're wholesaling in Ohio, I'm from Ohio. So
Which part?
that's cool. The southern part.
Okay.
About an hour kind of southeast-ish of Cincinnati.
Okay.
So right on the river. Probably it's a small place. Probably not where you're doing deals.
You'd be surprised, huh?
It's called Galplis, if you've done it.
Okay.
I imagine not. I imagine you're not flying over there to check properties out in person. How do you handle that?
Yeah, good question. hop on the plane, right? And just go over there, right? Charge it on the old Amex every time I get a deal out there, right?
Charter a G6.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Buy yourself a G6, hop in there and go. No, I'm joking. Yeah, great question. The question is, hey, if you're doing deals across in another state, how do you look at them? How do you view them? How do you even know if it's a decent property, right? Through connections and through the network, right? Yeah, I was afraid too. I was afraid to go outside the state. I met my partner, and he introduced me to a contractor that he had in Ohio. I started talking to him. He introduced me to an Uber driver out there in Ohio, and he takes the pictures. I learned about furnaces. I learned about right. I learned about basements. I learned about snow. I learned right. I had no. I'm from the West Coast. I'm from California and been in Arizona, so all these are kind of foreign to me. But I had to learn this stuff, right? So to answer your question is through the network. And so now we have people that work there for us, and they take the pictures for us. They put physical touches on the property, and from them being there and actually living there in that state, they know, hey, you better look out for that. They tell me. Yep. So I just had Joe, he took the pictures on that one, the duplex, and I'm ready to buy this thing, right? And he tells me, hey man, the foundation. I go, what about it? He goes, it's bowed out. I go, what does that mean? I'm not from, and was right. It was 10,000 to fix it. I don't know what. No, man, like it's bold. Like you're gonna have to new foundation. Well, what's that run, Joe? He works 9 to 5. He does. I'm not sure what he does. I get like some factory out in Ohio somewhere in Cleveland. But anyway, he goes and takes our pictures for us, and that's his side thing is getting pictures, right? But he knows a little bit about properties. And so he tells me, yeah, man, it's going to cost like this much, that much. I'm like, well, damn. Right? So network with people right here in this office. I've met people that have properties in Minneapolis, Texas, Pontiac, Montana, Missouri, right? It's all the network. That's why I really highly recommend you join the RIA, because everyone that you need, every resource you need is pretty much in these rooms during the classes. Rentals, Airbnb, flips. You couldn't meet nobody that didn't have a resource that can connect you into that place. Yeah. I never did a deal in Missouri, but we got one done. Same thing with Pontiac, Michigan. Same thing. I'm like, where is Pontiac, Michigan?
So have you done deals in like other places besides Ohio, or is it just Ohio
Yeah.
and Arizona?
Yep, other places.
Yeah.
All over. Yep. We got one going on right now in Bryan, Texas. Never been to Bryan, Texas. It's a nice looking place, nice looking property. I met this lady, her name is Christy. Shout out to Christy on the stream if she's watching. She lives in Austin, Texas, or Houston, Texas, and Bryan is like 2 hours away from where she's at. And yeah, and she's telling me everything I need to know about Texas properties. Well, yep. So power of networking, right? Cool. We got about 5-10 more minutes before we can start the role playing. Good questions, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being interactive and all that too. Appreciate it. Anything? What else you guys got? Love the questions. If you want to keep that going, it's up to you guys.
Is like emails and text like another good method, or is it just calls? That's the best route.
Cool. So the question is, are email and texting good sources of lead generation,
Yeah.
or just cold calling?
Yeah, other ways of cold calling, I guess.
Okay, great question. These are all just forms of marketing in a business. Cold calling is just one market that we focus in on 100%, because there's that saying, jack of all trades, master of none. I did that in the beginning. Hey, cold call. Hey, I got to send mail. I got a text. Hey, I can send emails at the same time, right? These are all forms of marketing. And if you do a little too much, it can be overwhelming. So I highly recommend that you get good at one of them. Become a master at it, right? Become a master at cold calling, at sales. And then once you do that and get a couple of deal flows coming in, now you have some funds to maybe put towards some texting or emails, right? Then now you can start buying platforms, software programs that can help you with texting, with your emails, and with your mailers or door knocking, whichever route you want to go. But great question. All right, we're gonna dive into. You guys want to hear a live call? It's up to you guys. Yeah. So this is our CRM. This is my profile. Again, this is where we house all of our data. If you come in here and put in work, you guys, you're going to be doing paper form at your first, right? If you want to come in and call on our leads, I'm perfectly cool with that. That's what we do this for. If you guys want to participate, I'm here every day. These guys are here every day, showing up and doing the call. If you want to, that's what this is for. All that I ask is that you give us a chance to work with you, partner up on the deal, get your first deal. If you want to keep it going, cool. If you want to venture out on your own, perfectly fine with that. And then I've had people that I've mentored and have gone out to do more deals, and we're still doing deals to this day because we're always just a network and a resource.
Actually, do have another question for you.
Yeah.
So speaking of leads, how do you identify leads and how do you source leads typically?
How do we identify leads?
Like how do you identify what makes a good lead? Like what are the criteria you look for? And then how do you source it?
For our list purposes, is what you're asking. Got it. Okay. So the question is, how do we identify our list and our lead sources? And then there was a second part to that, right? There was how to identify, and then how do you
source it?
How do you source it? Okay, cool. So we source it through PropStream. You guys might have seen this one. Huge filter of how you can dial in on your niche criteria list. Everyone's different. There's a bunch of criteria that you can look for. Because we're doing a little bit larger of a scale, we're doing very vague, broad list of like 30 to 60,000 at a time, right? So with that, we're keeping it real simple. Hey, retired landlord, high equity, not because the more you dial it down, the more your list is going to shrink. The more you have, right, the less criteria you have, the more bigger your list is going to be. But you have filters in here that can show you guys real quick. So you have on market, you have vacants, you have pre-foreclosures, you have bank owned, you have high equity. They have divorce, they have tax delinquents. You start getting into these, you're gonna have really smaller lists. But you gotta remember that a lot of people are gonna have these lists as well, all right? Doesn't mean that you can't get the property, it's just how good is your sales technique. It's gonna come down to who's consistent and persistent enough to get those deals, right? So we search by, like I said, vague, right? Hey, high equity, that way we can call the masses. That's pretty much how we do it. But starting out, I did try to go a little bit more niche, more zoned into, I went into a certain area that I knew, felt comfortable with, and then, yeah, really dived into like maybe get creative with it, right? Maybe, I know one time I did a search for like a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home with like possibly people that were over there like for 15 years because thinking maybe they had kids that have grown and maybe a 1-bath isn't enough now, right? Or just certain criteria, maybe 1-car garage, and maybe now they have more people or need bigger parking spaces, right? You just never know. So you can get pretty creative with it. And then you could use PropStream. They're about 12 cents per lead. But we use, like I said, through the network, we have a third-party source that we use. And because we're using such bigger bulker lists, this guy is almost like a Costco where you can go buy bulk for cheaper, right? So that's kind of what we use. And he tends to charge us anywhere from like 8 to 9 cents a lead rather than the 12 cents. And you know what's funny about that is just another avenue of like how you can generate wealth. And all he does is wholesale leads. He wholesales leads. He buys the leads from the main source. They all come from this one main source, and he just wholesales them to us. Yeah, pretty interesting. So software, like, I mean, you might be able to figure that stuff out, man. So this dude, he does all disposition stuff. His name's Arthur, and yeah, he still likes doing deals, but he does that thing where he gets all from the main source, in which everyone gets their leads from, and he buys them and then wholesales the leads. So pretty cool. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
I have lots of questions, but I'll wait.
Yeah, ask away. Let's see who we have a good. We'll keep doing Magnolias. So we'll play this one for like, we'll breeze through it. We won't play the whole enchilada here. We'll just kind of. So when we get someone, this is their profile, has their name, email address, phone number, the address of the property. We can disposition it right here of where we want it to be at. You can see this one is under contract, but they don't start out like that. They always start out as new, then they move into 10-day or ready for offer, and then finally they turn into under contract. This one was brought in by Magnolia. Magnolia, again, she's coming to the Call-O-Thon a few times, and she shows up 4 days out of the week. She's on vacation right now, or I'm sure she would be here right now. But this is her lead. She got the lead from us using our resources. She just kept doing the follow-up. And with that, that's why we do this, right? Because most of the time, you don't know where to take the conversation, right? You may be able to get that basic application, but after that, there's another couple of steps that you need to take to progress your sales. So that's what I'm here for as a coach, as a guide, as a mentor, to help take it to that next level. And that's what me and Magnolia did here. And it gives you the ability to listen in, to sit here and listen to the conversation. Watch my tone, watch how I'm interacting with the seller, and just mimic exactly what I did. Because that's all I do. So we have the notes. When we initially talked was on 6/8. And you can see, keep going through the dates of when we talked to the seller. This CRM, you can record conversations, you can text from here, you can make calls from this. So we'll play the first initial conversation.
Hey, Robert, how's it going?
How you doing, Magnolia?
Good, yes. How's it going today?
Good, good. How are you?
Are you there?
Yeah, I said good. How are you?
I'm very good, Roberto. I wanted to give you a call back. We received the pictures, and yeah, it does look like it needs quite a.
All right, that's one of the later conversations. Let me see if I can find the first initial conversation that she had. I think this one might be it.
Hello?
Hi, is this Magnolia?
Hey, Roberto, yes, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. We spoke on Saturday. I don't know if you remember, you called me.
Yes, yes. Well,
Yeah.
you guys had left a message. Not only you, but there was a gentleman who called, probably one of your associates, and left a message for me to call you or him. And then I called you back, and now you're calling me back. It was the last message I got. Actually, I just got. Well, you guys had an offer for me?
Yes, actually, I have my partner right here with me. So let's just call him.
It's the only resident I have, which I currently live in. Oh, okay, got it, okay. Okay. So,
So Magnolia got the first, right? Took the application, found out a little bit, right? And Magnolia, she would tell you if she was here that she's a nervous wreck, right? Super like, she gets scrambled. I said, Magnolia, hey, slow down a little bit, right? Calm, relax. So she was here, we were ready to hop on the call, and then she just tags me in. right? She doesn't know where to take the conversation. She knows that she's supposed to get the basic info, but where does she go from there, right? So we're literally sitting side by side on this conversation.
Yeah, we did have an offer ready for you. We're cash buyers, Roberto, so,
Setting that foundation.
properties that we could potentially go in there and flip, or potentially keep for a rental. If we did come up with a price that was fair for you and fair for us, Roberto, like how much time do you think you would need to be able to move out of the property? Just like sooner or later type?
Asking engaging questions. Hey, is it sooner or later? Hey, how much time do you need before you move out of the property? We're going to skip ahead a little bit. This is all just asking those engaging questions.
The original driveway of the house,
Okay.
Active listening.
That, there's a little bit of issues around the house, as far as, which probably has to do with, between my two neighbors here, I'm the lowest part, between them. So, I get inundated with water in the yard, like, when it's really, really pouring down rain, I got a pond, there's actually stuff.
Tell me about living there, right? Tell me about the neighborhood. Tell me about his neighbor.
Do you have like a spouse or anybody, or?
Just my wife and
I learned. I learned from that last conversation. Who's involved here? Spouse.
Okay, got it. Cool.
Although he is on the loan by himself, it just says his name. It says Roberto on the title. Do you think that the wife still doesn't have no say? Where's the pants in the relationship, Toby? We wear the pants, right? We wear the pants in the relationship, right? No, of course you got to get permission from the spouse, right? It's a relationship. Yeah, you got to get her okay. You got to get her thumbs up too, the green light from her. So we'll keep skipping ahead a little bit more.
Not do anything bad, but I just want to be comfortable, trustworthy, and know that I'm getting a true deal.
Comfortable, trustworthy, true deal.
I can appreciate that, Roberto, too, because, you sound like a straight shooter, and that's how we run our company. I get it. I completely get it, man. Like, trust, that's everything, right? I think that's more higher than above any kind of value that you put on anything, right?
I take a man's word as their soul. You told me you're a good soul, and you give me your word that you're a good soul, and I expect that good soul to show itself.
We're going to put that to the test. We're going to put that to the test. I'm going to put you to the test on what you're saying right now. He doesn't know that, but I'm going to. You trustworthy guy, hey, so are we. We are too. And we're going to go through that together. We're about to find this out. So trust is his big issue. I showed empathy. Hey, I get it. Trust is the same thing here. I'm definitely going to, I'd rather pay I'd rather have a partner that I know I can trust rather than go and put money into something that I know that might get burned on.
I agree.
There's very, very few good souls out there, Paul. And I've experienced it all. I've been through the ringer with a lot, but I'm still standing. My common sense prevents me from doing stupid things. To you, it might sound stupid, but to me, it's vindictive. I want to get.
Me and this guy's personality are similar to one another. That's why I'm able to have such a good conversation with him, because I noticed that our personalities are alike, right? I can just hear it from his voice. He's just a positive, energetic, jolly kind of, easygoing kind of guy. That's my personality all day, right? You got to realize that when you're talking to people, you're going to deal with different personalities. You're going to deal with analysts, analytical. You're going to deal with engineering. You're going to be dealing with people maybe that are a little hesitant, maybe a little, hey, I'm right to the point. So you got to recognize those as you get more progressive in your sales. That's the next step, is really understanding the psychological aspect of it. You ever see those charts where it's the red, green, and the yellow, and the blue, and tells you your different personality types, right? You got to understand how to recognize those while you're on the phone call. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Let's see. I think that's about it. We set something up for another call later.
I don't want to give to me, I don't use
Or we'll just finish up and talk about the property. But you can see we had a lot more calls with him, a lot more texts, and this one is currently under contract in a great area. What? Huh?
You ended up getting it?
Yeah. Locked. Why is that? Because we were to help. We came up to a fair offer. It was a little back and forth, obviously, right? And we ended up coming into a spot where we felt it was good for him, felt it was good for us as a business. All right. Cool. I hope that helped you guys out. We're gonna go into the role playing now. This part's a little bit of fun exercise, right? Where we're gonna have one seller, one buyer, and then one critiquer. At the end, you guys, after the calls, after the role play, please stick around again to get everyone's number. And then we also like to get a photo of everyone over here by the banner at the end, all right? Any questions as far as the applications? You guys are more than welcome to keep these with you as we're going through the exercise right now. The main ones you're gonna wanna keep in front of you are the call objective structure and the other two, the application and the script, all right? One thing Michaela promotes is always like, treat it like a real call. You know, I get it, we're kind of here in the room, but really act like you're on the call. If you got to pause, you know what I mean? But keep it going. We'll be here to help you if you do get stuck, but really try to, you know, push through it, all right? And we'll keep them to like 5-10 minute conversations if you can. And remember, you guys, all you're really doing is just trying to get all your basic application filled out first, all right? Any questions before we get started with the role playing, anything? Cool. Delphine, you mind helping out? Sure. Cool. Frisco, we'll be right here with these two gentlemen. Toby, you cool with working with Harold and Jim, are you good? All right, it's up to you. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Toby, if you want to hang out with Harold and Jim, yeah.